How's it going, guys? It's Eclipse here, and today's video we are looking at the best way to actually farm silver in World of Tanks console. We're going to have a look at the optimum setup, how you should go about getting the silver bonuses that you can in-game, and then realistically looking at the sort of methods you can use to basically maximize the silver. It may not maximize the amount of actual damage and various other things in-game, but it definitely will maximize your silver to be able to have and grind out the most amount of silver as possible. So first things first is obviously the setup of your tank. You need to make sure that you're not exclusively firing things like premium ammunition. As you can see on screen right now, the premium ammunition costing 4.8 times as much as the standard ammunition. Obviously the HE rounds in your tank tend to be the cheapest rounds within the game. That's not always the case, but it is in most tanks, and you'll see that there's a very little difference in the Scorpion G, for example, with it costing 1,000 silver per round on its standard rounds, 4,800 on its premium, and 935 on its HE. Now, obviously, if you can pen HE shells in such a tank, you're going to be able to have a lot more silver per game, because what's going to happen is obviously you'll be dealing more damage, which counts towards making you more silver. But that being said, it should be noted that, how often can you actually pen your HE round, and often you'll just be wasting the round if you don't actually penetrate, and often that will just lead to you losing silver per game because you're not doing the same amount of damage as the standard round. So when it comes down to farming silver, what you want to do is picking your rounds correctly. So say if I'm coming up against a tier 10 in the Scorpion, and it's a heavily armoured tier 10, what I am going to do is obviously fire premium rounds, because that will mean that I actually get some damage comparatively to if I fired a standard round at that tank, given that the weak point of that tank is higher than my standard penetration. Now, if that's the case, you'll be dealing more damage, or you'll actually get damage, and therefore you'll earn silver from that. Now, in terms of the standard rounds, obviously you want to fire them as much as possible, because in the Scorpion G, you don't get any alpha damage increase from using the premium rounds. In tanks like for example, the SU-100Y, you actually get an increase in damage if you load the premium rounds, and similarly the Dragonlance and C, if you load the premium rounds you actually do more damage, but you get a reduction in penetration, so it's basically like a really good HE round. And so if you can penetrate that HE, or the HESH round that it's called, you'll be dealing more damage per shot. Is it warranted with regards to the Dragon? Well, it depends, because if that means that you can actually take the enemy out of the game, it will mean that you get the enemy destroyed, and therefore it will boost up your XP, and therefore it will lead to more silver in your game. Now, that is one of the key things, is also the different things that actually count towards your silver earning potential. One of the key things is obviously damage in the game, in your various tanks, and that's one of the key things within this new update anyway on World of Tanks console. That is by way of spotting damage and actual damage, tracking assistance as well. That also counts towards your silver, because it's all forms of damage. Or additionally, you will be able to get extra silver if you destroy an enemy. So if you find that you get 6 or 7 destroyed enemies in a battle, then you'll be able to actually pick up more silver, and that's obviously going to be a lot better for you. With regards to the way you should play in game, well, we'll have a couple of gameplays or gameplays that you'll see in the Scorpion, just to kind of show off the ways that you can actually earn it. Another key aspect is obviously picking the right kind of tank. If you're going to be earning lots of silver, and I mean lots and lots of silver, if you want to maximize that amount of silver that you're going to be earning per game, picking the right tank is almost one of the biggest things, if not the biggest thing, other than being able to perform well in that tank. So not only do you want to pick a tank that can perform well consistently, and consistently being the imperative there, you need to make sure that the tank is obviously best suited to your playstyle, so you can continually get them high damage games within World of Tanks, and therefore you really do need to work on making sure that you pick the right tank. So for me, a tank like the Scorpion obviously works very, very well. The high alpha for its tier works very, very well. The reload means that it will actually have really high DPM for a tank destroyer if I use the rations as well. And we'll get onto that in just a second. So make sure that what you do is you use the right kind of equipment as well. So with regards to using equipment and consumables, well, you need to make sure that you're not just loading in the most expensive consumables just for the sake of it because you're playing in a premium tank, because often you won't actually need them. And for me personally, how often do you actually need to repair or put back another crew member after they've been knocked out? Well, it's not that often in World of Tanks. So for me, I tend not to use the enhanced med kit, and then I'll actually just use the standard med kit, which, is saving you a nice little 8,000 silver. And, using rations is one of those things where it just makes my tank way better. It will mean that when I activate rations, it will mean that my view range goes flying up, which means I can get more assistance. It will increase my DPM as well, so the reload will reduce. It will just mean that I can perform much better for the 30 seconds that it is active. And so basically, if I'm in a 10-minute game, I'm going to have 3 and a bit minutes of just constantly being able to use this crew performance boost, as well as the passive boost as well, because you do get a 10% crew performance boost just as a passive effect. So it's way better than using something like the fuel boost, for me anyway, in this kind of premium tank. Another really good premium tank that you can use is something like the Dragon, where you have the opportunity to fire those Hesh rounds should you need them. It works really well in tier 10 games if you actually come into them. You need something that will be able to consistently earn you silver, and therefore playing against tier 10s you will need a tank that can be able to do that. So playing in something like, for example, the Type 59, it's not going to earn you the biggest amount of silver because, let's be honest, the premium rounds on it are pretty weak, which means if you come up against tier 10s, it's not going to have that much fun. I know that the Type 59 might be a preferential, not entirely sure, but I know that, a tank, for example, with that kind of pen at tier 10 wouldn't work very well within the game anyway. At least you can't perform every single game and have the opportunity to deal high damage games, which often get you the most silver. Now, one other thing that you should note is that obviously choosing the right tank is obviously good, but it also comes down to, does your tank actually provide the best silver bonus comparatively to other tanks that you own, and whether the tank, taking a worse tank into battle that has a higher silver bonus earn will mean that you can actually earn more silver overall. So the Rheinmetall Scorpion G, if you see in this kind of the little text box, it says it has, this premium vehicle has a 10% bonus XP earn and a 50% bonus silver. So you'll earn 50% more silver in the Scorpion G comparatively to a tech tree version of a tank. So for example, the Borsig. Now, if we look at something like the Roger Dodger, this actually has a 50%. And then looking at the King Tiger, this has a 60% bonus silver. So if you're playing in the King Tiger, you'll be able to earn 10% more silver per game comparatively to the Scorpion G. From the base cost, if you did the same amount of damage and the same amount of assisted and etc., then that's what you would earn. So make sure that you pick a tank that, yes, you can perform very well in, so something like the Scorpion G's performance, but also with the most silver earn as well. So one tank that I know is really, really, really good for earning silver, earning copious amounts of silver, that is actually the Ragnarok. Now, this is obviously one of those premiums that doesn't go on sale very often. Very, very expensive. Very, very good. It certainly is really, really good. And if we can find it here somewhere, yeah, it basically offers like the ability to just get tons and tons of silver, because I think it gets a 75% increased to the silver earn. So you get like 70%, 70 to 75% bonus silver earn, which is way higher than the Scorpion G. And it's an autoloader that features quite high damage games on average. If you look at the statistics of the tank, yeah, you can basically earn copious amounts of silver in that thing. And if you whack on a booster, which you may have got from the season pass, if you actually do that, then you can earn double on times like 1.8. and if it's on a weekend, which is coming up as of the recording of this video, you'll get an extra 50% silver. So if you're stacking all of these boosts, which they do stack together, if you're stacking them all together, that will mean that you'll be earning an insane amount of silver. If you do a really good game on a weekend like that with the boost in the Ragnarok, and you're also using a silver booster, I've seen games going way over 400,000 silver in just one game without any operations. So that's not including like things like the season objectives where you get a certain amount of silver for completing it. So make sure that if you're going to actually play, then you do that you know, in those kind of tanks, because you don't want to be playing something that's kind of slow, that you're not going to be able to get damage, you're not going to be able to get assistance, you're not going to be able to outspot. It's just going to kind of be some pretty average games. And yes, you may earn 60,000 silver a game, which is more than some tech tree tanks for sure, but you're not going to be getting up into the regions of 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 silver per game. So I thought it was really important to kind of show you the ropes with regards to trying to earn some silver in the game. I'll put a couple of replay results from using my tactic or using the kind of silver that I can actually earn using this kind of method in the Scorpion G and also in a couple of other tanks. So hopefully you'll find this video informative. If you did, then please hit that like button. I have various other World of Tanks guides for update 6.0 and all of the new stuff that's come into the game, and hopefully they'll kind of help you out as well. So if you do want to see any more content, it should be on screen. Other than that, I think that's it for the video, and I hope you do enjoy. Goodbye.